Right, good morning. I thought I'd start because today I am finishing this 1943 Willys and I have built a 1943 GPW Ford 4 years ago in 2017. So what happened? We still have this one inside a tin, and I am finishing, I'm fitting this one, right? So I finished the lot, right? I've done the lot from the chassis all the way through nut and bolt. Now that I have these two here, I thought it'd be interesting to make a video about the main differences between GPW and Willys, because we have a GPW and a Willys, right? Both 1943. Right. The basic main difference in the chassis, for example, is the Willys chassis has that crossmember is round, cylindrical, yeah? In the Ford GPW, it's a box section, it's square, yeah? As you can see, it's straight. In the, oh look at that, there's a rotor in there. Clearly fallen in. Right, take it out later. Another difference. These lids in the GPW have moldings, yeah? The Willys, they're flat, yeah? What else? That, you see, is round. In the GPW composite body is rectangular, you see? There. Alright. What else? The GPW will have F's printed all over the place. So you'll see F's there, you see? There's an F there. That kind of F. You'll see them on the bolts, yeah? On the bolt heads, and basically everywhere where you look, you'll see the F branding of Ford. Right now, that is not very much of a telltale, because a lot of the Willys have the Fs too, because they started crossing to the Willys factory, and anyway, and people building these Jeeps also, they're using the Ford branded screws anyway and bolts to put them into Willys Jeeps. So but then engines, for example, that's a Ford engine and that's a Willys engine. The Willys engine is in the GPW, the Ford engine is in the Willys. This is original, and it happened like this. In 1943, some Willys were given, were out of the factory, given to the army. The army painted them olive drab, and then, like this one is now, I just sprayed it. But then, a year later, in 1944, they were going across to the Marines who were fighting in the Pacific. And the Marines, what they did is, first thing they did, took the engine out, put a Ford engine in. So this is a 1944 war engine, right? And then changed the springs. So you've got, I think, 10 leaves in each spring, because they assumed there was another person and a radio and an operator, so they needed stronger springs. So they usually change the springs, change the engine, which this one has, because this one was Marine Corps, and then painted the Jeep forest green, which is different to olive drab, but they didn't paint the chassis. So sometimes you see the originals, they will have forest green on top, olive drab chassis, and a 1944 engine, wartime, yeah? Painted in the grey, the Ford grey colour, right? that's all wrong. That's a civilian engine, and it's painted grey, and it should be green. Yeah, Willys engines were the same colour as the Jeeps. But how do we know that that's a civilian engine? Because of these. You see these ridges. That is a civilian head on it, and that is about 3 inches long, three and three quarters, I think. It's between 3 and 4 inches long. It usually has a number on it, and it also determines that this is a civilian block. Yeah. The wartime engines didn't have the ridges, and this is very short. You see, it's about 2 inches. This small shelf above the water pump. So basic differences, main differences. That also says Willys, of course, on it, and that one says GPW. Right. So apart from that, most of the two Jeeps were exactly the same. The engine box is exactly the same, even though the engines are different. Different things, right? For example, you usually see that, which is the wind deflector. You see it in a lot of Jeeps there. Yeah, but that is early 1941, 1942 Jeeps, and it was only used on slat grills, right? These are not slat grills. Slat grill was 41, 42. When they start stamping the grills, which is a stamp grill, which is this one, they didn't use that anymore. But you see a lot of bonnets crossing over and having that in any event. The other thing, for example, I was installing that comes in October 1943. So I was checking this one was delivered September 1943. So it needs that one. 3 studs, yeah? They go through the tire, or not through the tire, through the wheel basically. And that one doesn't. That one, the wheel sits on this step, yeah? Under it. And that disc just supports the wheel from it falling, but it's been held by that step. That's newer in a way. It comes in October 1943. So the rest is more or less the same. Early Jeeps didn't have the glove compartment, and they were stamped Willys, yeah. But in 1942. The stamping disappears. The government decided it didn't want to advertise Willys, and that was put in July 1942. That comes in, and the reflector, which was higher up, is changed to this lower position, and these are added for extra strength, the loops. So you see there's an F there again. They're all over the place. Right. So, hope you enjoyed the video, found it helpful in any way if you're in the subject, and if you like to subscribe to the channel, please do so. I'll keep adding more videos as I go. I've restored many classic cars along the years and throughout, and some military vehicles, as you can see. So after this, I've just finished a Pink Panther Land Rover Series 2A, and now I'm on to these, and after this I've got an Austin Champ coming in, so I've got military stuff for a while. See you later, mates. Have a good one.